back to the channel. Today we are in the kitchen. Today we are going to be trying roasted tomato soup. I think that's what it's called. Now, I don't think I'm following any particular recipe. I've been cruising through YouTube and watching plenty of people do their own montage of recipes. Pardon my oven, that's just letting me know that it reached 375. But I've been cruising through YouTube, watching people do their own homage, if you want to say it that way, to this recipe, and I just been picking up tips and tricks to this recipe from many people, and I'm going to kind of add some spices from every video that I've picked up that I think my husband might like, because this is totally again for him. As per usual, I guess you guys are gonna get tired of hearing that. So these tomatoes are from the garden. These are the last hurrah that we're gonna get from the USG garden for 2023. I mean, the plants are still out there. You will see that in the September garden tour. I have not tear them out yet. They are still producing here and there, usually mainly the cherry tomatoes, but they're still pretty, and I just have them there, I guess, because my heart can't get them to come up. But anyways, go watch that video if you want to hear more about it. But what we have here is just a mixture of some slices, which obviously did not get that big because of the weather that we are in now, but mainly cherry tomatoes. The peppers are also from the garden. They are on their last leg because I did not use them on time, but they are perfect for this because we're going to roast them anyway. The onions are obviously not grown here because I just have not successfully been able to grow them. But the red onions are going to be roasted, or purple onions, however you call them, and the yellow onion or white onion, I think it's yellow, is going to be added once we're ready to go into the pot. I have some garlic. I have my pathetic 1 or 2 sprigs of thyme, because my thyme, when we were in a slow, minute drought here, I just did not water, and then we just got loads of rain. It just dried out. It's coming back, but slowly. So that's the only spring that I have of thyme, so that is from the garden. Basil, I have basil all over the place, so it's in abundance. And recaco, or culantro, also from the garden. Some tomato paste that's going to be going into the pot, and olive oil so we can sprinkle our vegetables before we put them in the oven to roast. Oven is at 375. I think I already said that. We also have on the stove, if I bring you guys over here, I have 2 sheet pans. That's usually where my daughter bakes her cookies, and we're going to put everything there. The tomatoes, the cherries, they can go in as is. The medium slicers, I do have some bigger slicers over here. As you can see, they're a little bigger. Those we obviously going to core out and probably slice in half or in quarters, so it's easier to roast, so this process goes a little quicker. That bowl is probably the last hurrah of bigger ones that I have, and we're just gonna roast this maybe 15-20 minutes. Hopefully everything goes quick, and we're gonna put everything in a saucepan, and then there's gonna be extra dry ingredients that go into that saucepan so we can flavor this. I've picked up through the videos probably some dry oregano, some salt, some sugar, smoked paprika. If you want to make this on the spicier side, you can add some red chili pepper flakes, or if you have in your garden growing some jalapenos or anything spicier than that, you can just roast that as well. I actually do have some hotter things than jalapenos growing in my garden, but I don't not that I'm gonna mess it up, but I'll let him add some red chili pepper flakes or maybe some hot sauce on his own if he wants to spice it up. So I'm just gonna make it, you know, completely, you know, non-spicy or if mild. But I'm gonna go ahead and cut up all these vegetables, and I'll show you what they look like in the sheet pans before I put them in the oven. So let me get to work so hubby can hopefully have this if he wants it for dinner, or I guess an in between. All right guys, so this is where we are at. They are all chopped up. As you can see, I have two. They're full to the brim. They are covered in extra virgin olive oil, Goya, because that's the brand that I like. And now I just gave them a nice healthy dose of Redmond real salt. I like the fine sea salt type. Love this thing, by the way. And now is just kind of massaging. Hands are clean, by the way. I chose not to chop up the basil because the bottom line is that all of this is going to roast, obviously, in the oven. So no point of, you know, chopping any of this thing up. And, you know, from there, you're gonna put it all, like I already kind of stated, into a pot of your choice, and it's all going to cook down, and then you're gonna blend it. Now, if I can find my immersion blender, it's gonna be easier because I can just immersion everything in my stock pot. But if I can't find that, then I'm gonna have to use my Ninja and transfer everything there and blend everything there so I can get the fine consistency that I'm looking for. So let me finish mixing all of this up so everything gets into the nooks and cranny of everybody here, and then I'm gonna put everything into the oven, and it's gonna roast at 375, which I think I already set it for, I think about 15-20 minutes. Everybody's oven is different, so I'm gonna keep my eye on it, and I'll catch you on the flip side. All right guys, so it's been about an hour, and I also raised the temperature of the oven to 425 degrees, and this is where we are at. So I am about to pull it out because it released a lot of juice. Some of the cherry tomatoes on the pan on the right hand side have not actually kind of exploded, but I'm going to be okay with that because we are going to be transferring this to a crock pot. I am going to meet you guys on the other side so I can tell you what we are going to be doing from there. This oven cries when I leave the door open for too long, so just ignore it. So over here I have the tomato paste, the onion that I already went ahead and diced up, the recaco, the basil, ground oregano, paprika, ground black pepper, some sugar, some salt, my spoon, and my crock pot on the stove. So let's go ahead and get this started. All right, so I turned you guys around and we are currently at the stove. I'm going to be using my Cuisinart. Oh my god, I'm drawing a blank. Crock pot, I guess that's what we call these guys. And I love this thing. Heavy though. And we're going to turn the stove on, and these things retain heat, so I'm going to try to turn it on medium for right now. I'm going to immediately put some extra virgin olive oil, not much, because we want to saute the onions and the recaco with the basil. Even though what we have in the oven, I still have the oven on, as you can see, by the way, because I still want those cherry tomatoes to, you know, see if they can pop while I get this sauteed, which is not going to take long. So we're going to go ahead and put those vegetables in right now. from there, I'm gonna go ahead and add some salt so we can sweat out these onions and make them translucent. Now remember, don't add too much salt, but remember, it is your kitchen and you do with it what you want, because we did add salt in the beginning to the vegetables in the roasting process. So add a touch in the beginning, and then once you have everything blended, you can re-add once you taste the final product. It's always good to add in increments than add in the beginning and not be able to remove. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this sweat out a little bit at medium heat till this becomes a little translucent and the basil and the recaco kind of wilt. And once that happens, I'll bring you guys back. All right, so as you can see, they are translucent. So before it starts turning completely brown here and they start caramelizing, I'm gonna lower the volume of the fire because these enamel cast iron pots here can do that very quickly. We are going to move on to one heaping spoon of tomato paste we have right here. Now, I'm assuming this is going to be like our thickening agent. Going to go ahead and kind of blend this in here. Now I have that hole here in my wooden spoon. Guys, I love this wooden spoon. It's about 16 or 17 inches in length. I love this thing. I feel like little witch brewing, you know, spells and stuff. All right, so at the beginning, I'm gonna add a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna do the ground oregano. Now this is very, like, you know, potent, so I'm not gonna add much. The paprika, I don't know what, you know, flavor profile that is gonna bring. A lot of people say they really don't taste it, they really do. It's mainly for color. But here we go. And it's all measuring with your heart, guys. I'm literally just putting dabs and dibbles. And like I said, at the end, if I feel that it needs a little bit of something, I'll go ahead and add it at the ends. And add a tablespoon of sugar. This point, my pan is like completely dry. So I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling one by one my trays from the oven and slowly inserting that into my crock pot. Guys, ain't you gonna tell me that's not a view right there? Leaving it there a little bit longer while I started this up did the trick with the cherry tomatoes. So I am probably gonna end up using a cucharon just to start inserting the chunks, and then just flip over the tray to get the liquids. So let me get the cucharon and we'll get this started. Alright, so I'm probably gonna flip-flop between both of these. We'll see what happens. So I'm gonna start off with this one. This is really hot, so I literally just took it out of the oven. So, you know, just to avoid like leakage. My stove is probably gonna become a hot mess, and it's okay. You should have seen what it would look like yesterday after cooking. It was like ridiculous. But this is pretty much, you know, the process. I'm just trying to lighten up the load, so this scorching hot situation that I have going on here, I don't have to like completely pick it up all in one load and, you know, God forbid, burn myself. So I'm gonna continue this process, and once I'm done with it, I'll bring you guys back so I can show you the way the pot looks. Alright guys, I did it. I have both trays in here, and this is what it is looking like. It released a lot of water. Some call for chicken stock, vegetable stock. I don't have any of those in hand. So I might just, you know, leave it as is. I'm working with what I have. I don't want to have to run to the supermarket and get anything. At the end, it does call for like heavy cream. Don't have that in hand either. So I kind of asked, you know, a good old friend Alexa, and she said that good substitutes for that is plain old milk, but I think that milk will probably like liquefy it. So the other thing it said was also cream cheese. So I have this cream cheese here. It didn't say like how much, you know, like I'll add like a dollop. And see, the only sad part about the situation is that I was hoping to use my immersion blender, and I found the attachment, but I did not find the handle, which is the most important part. I know it's here in my house. I'm gonna raise the flame to medium heat so we could kind of infuse the flavors a little bit more of all the seasonings that I added, and then we're gonna take it over to the Ninja so we can, you know, chop all this up. And if it's too thick, at that point what I will do is add some water. And what I have in hand here in my house is these packages of Goya chicken bouillon. So that right there for me is water and chicken bouillon. There you go, chicken stock, right? Or chicken, but yeah, chicken stock. So I could just make it at home, right? So that will liquefy it if it's too thick. So that's where we are at this point. So I'm gonna let this kind of boil or simmer just a little bit, so all the seasonings could kind of grab onto everything that we just put in, and then we're gonna go to the Ninja. So I will see you guys at that point. So my husband came to save the day. He found my top piece, and here's the attachment. Really haven't actually used this much. I think I've only used it once. So it's gonna be interesting using this. So I took it off the stove. Still have the stove on, the actual burner still on, because we actually gonna transfer it back. So you can see the consistency. I think it's gonna be thick. So we actually taste the liquid. It's immaculate. It tastes delicious. So we'll see if the taste changes once everything is liquefied. This is really loud, so I'm gonna go ahead and just show you a little bit of what's going on, and we'll see what happens from there. So I'm gonna immerse it inside. As you can see, this guy actually has holes. Way back when, many years ago, I used to have a version of this. One of the versions that you can find like at Rite Aid, one of those cheaper stores that you buy, you know, like in Christmas time when they were trying to sell you those, you know, cheaper kind of, you know, versions of kitchen gadgets. No tea, no shade to them, but those don't really have holes, and I think they don't work as well. This one I think actually works better because it gives it like aeration. So, and it has like the button here, which I can actually see if I can show you. So it has the button here, which is the on button, and it actually has a turbo button, and here it has a low and a high, so you can actually grade it on how you're going to level it, like low, and you can bring it in speed as high as you want. So here we go. So I'm going to start off in low. As you can see, guys, I'm not a lefty, so this is getting like really tiring for me, so I might switch you guys around so I can do it with my right. All right, so this is starting to get really thick, but it's breaking it down. I switched over to my right because as a lefty I don't work well, so we're going to continue this process. I did raise it up about medium speed, so let's see how it works. All right, so I'm going to continue this off camera until I get the consistency that I want, and I'll bring you back shortly. All right, guys, so updating you. It was pretty thick. I found another piece to this. It's the one with the blade at the bottom, and it like kind of chops everything. So that one, total game changer to this, because it has kind of made, I mean, it's still kind of, you know, still has some pieces, but it's okay. That means it's an actual hearty soup. But I actually added about 2 cups and 3/4 of water into it, and I added half a packet of the chicken bouillon powder, and it's tasting phenomenal. So the last thing to do, just to, I mean, not that it's not amazing in itself right now, it tastes phenomenal. And mind you, I don't even do this. Like, I don't even eat this stuff, but it tastes good. I'm actually tasting it as I go. So the last thing, just to make it give like that creaminess, is the cream cheese. So I'm going to add like a heaping dollop to it, and this is it's whipped, so it's fluffy. So I'm hoping, I mean, it's not gonna look fluffy here as I take it out, but I'm gonna add, you know, a nice, you know, actually I'm gonna use my finger if I can. My fingers and my hands are clean. I mean, I've been cooking this for a couple hours now, so, and it's for my family. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and work that in with the immersion blender as well, and see how this goes, and hopefully that will give it some airness into it and some creaminess. All right, so it did change color a little bit, not by much. So let's go ahead and taste it. Oh, I'm gonna put this back on the stove. I'm gonna have my husband taste it, and if he feels that it needs anything else, I can add it. But then I think that the consistency, let me wash the spoon. I feel that the consistency, once it comes to breaking everything down, the immersion blender can't do anything else. I think it's broken it down beautifully. I don't think there's any chunks in this left at all. So I'm gonna go ahead and detach the immersion blender. It's quite hot, might I add. So we are completely done with this process. Very happy with the immersion blender. It did its job. And we're gonna return this to the stove, and if we add anything new, we will see you at that process. I am hoping to accompany this with grilled cheese. So we will see you at the end process.
Yummy.
All right, guys, it was very busy in the kitchen. So unfortunately, this clip here went a little A-wires. My camera was a little wonky, and so was I. But here I'm attempting to show you guys the way that I compile the grilled cheese here in the house. I have Hellman's Real Mayonnaise. Here I melted the butter in the microwave. We are using Land O'Lakes. I'm using potato bread here, as you guys see, and I'm using Kraft American cheese. So what we did to compile these grilled cheese is I put mayonnaise on the outer portion of the bread, and I put butter on the inside of the slices of the bread. I used 2 American slice cheese on these sandwiches, and then we went to the frying pan. I did not lay anything down on the frying pans as it was not needed, because that's what the mayonnaise on the outside is for. And here, as you can see, we are achieving a nice toast on the bread, and the cheese melted phenomenal. These came out phenomenal, and they made an amazing match for this roasted tomato soup. My husband loved this meal. All right, guys, there you have it. Roasted tomato soup with grilled cheese sandwich. Oh my God, eat your hearts out. I can't believe I accomplished it. I am pushing myself to the limits in this kitchen. I can't believe I'm doing it. I am using the garden harvest as much as I can. Whatever I can't use, I preserve in the freezer, because I'm just starting to learn how to ferment in the fridge, not outside yet. My skills are not there yet, but I'm getting there. But look at this plate, look at this dish. Oh my God, it looks so good. Look at the cheese just melting on top of the other half. It just, oh my God, it looks so good. We can't wait to dig in. My husband is hungry. He's literally salivating in the living room. I wish you guys can come through the screen and taste this. It is delicious. So, you know, I don't have a recipe for this. This is just something that just I put, you know, together myself. If it's something that becomes a staple, obviously when it's garden season, and next year I will compile something so I can put it in the description below, and recreate for you guys once the garden comes into fruition in 2024, because this is something that you have to do with garden fresh vegetables, if at all possible. Now mind you, this is half and half, and it's all good, but you can taste the freshness from the garden fresh vegetables that is in this. But all that to say, guys, I hope that you enjoy this video, and as always, guys, you know what to do. I ask you from the bottom of my heart, like, comment, and subscribe, and share all around YouTube so we can grow. And as always, guys, we will see you guys on the next video. Much love.